Welcome to Outside Views. Today we're diving into a critical issue that raises serious questions about the UK's infrastructure and public health in the post-Brexit world. And the topic, a looming crisis in the UK's ability to ensure the safety of its tap water. As of now, all laboratories responsible for testing and certifying the chemicals and materials used to clean and transport drinking water have shut down. And this situation, described by industry experts as a Brexit problem, has left water companies unable to approve new products or maintain compliance for existing ones. The potential consequences are dire: compromised water safety, increased costs, and reduced competition in the market. And this is not just an operational challenge, but a tangible risk to public health. To understand the full gravity of this situation, we must revisit the regulatory framework that once governed water safety and the events that led to this point. Before Brexit, the UK was part of the EU's comprehensive regulatory system for water safety. The Drinking Water Directive set stringent standards for water quality across all member states, ensuring uniformity and public health protection. Under this directive, any material or chemical that came into contact with drinking water had to undergo rigorous testing to confirm its safety. These tests ensured that materials did not leach harmful chemicals into the water supply or encourage the growth of dangerous microbes. The UK, as a member of the EU, participated fully in this system, benefiting from shared resources such as laboratory capacity across the continent. Regulation 31, an EU-derived law, was central to the UK's compliance with these standards. This regulation required that all products used in the treatment and transport of drinking water, such as pipes, filters, and cleaning agents, be tested in specialized laboratories. These labs had to meet stringent certification standards, ensuring the reliability of their results. At its peak, the UK had 3 certified laboratories dedicated to Regulation 31 testing. However, Brexit changed everything. When the UK left the EU, it also left the shared regulatory frameworks and resources that had underpinned its water safety system. From January 2021, the UK became solely responsible for maintaining its own water safety standards. And this shift was complicated by the fact that all 3 certified laboratories in the UK closed after Brexit. These facilities, already expensive to run, became unsustainable without the broader EU market to support them. Now, there are no operational labs in the UK capable of performing Regulation 31 testing. And this has created a backlog of products awaiting certification, leaving water companies unable to use new materials or chemicals to clean and transport drinking water. Products that require recertification every 5 years have also fallen out of compliance, further limiting the tools available to water companies. Industry insiders warn that this limits the availability of products in the market, which both risks safety and reduces competition. And the result? Higher costs for water companies and ultimately consumers, as well as potential declines in service quality. The risks of this situation are not hypothetical. Earlier this year, thousands of residents in Devon fell ill after the cryptosporidium parasite was detected in the local water supply. The incident forced schools and businesses to close temporarily and left households boiling their water for over a month to ensure it was safe to drink. And while this outbreak was not directly linked to the lack of testing capacity, it serves as a stark reminder of what can happen when water safety is compromised. In contrast to the UK, EU member states are moving toward greater harmonization of their water safety standards. By December 2026, the EU plans to implement a recast drinking water directive, which will allow member states to share laboratory capacity more efficiently. If the UK were still part of the EU, its water companies could benefit from this shared capacity, mitigating the impact of lab closures. Instead, UK rules prohibit the testing of products abroad, leaving the country isolated from these advancements. Industry experts and whistleblowers have voiced their frustration with the current state of affairs. Ceres van der Weijer, a seasoned water industry consultant, has highlighted how the lack of testing facilities is stifling innovation and increasing operational challenges. While the Drinking Water Inspectorate insists that the situation does not impact consumers, industry insiders argue that the inability to approve new products could have long-term consequences. The trade group British Water has also sounded the alarm, stating that the closure of testing labs has disrupted production lines and left suppliers struggling to meet regulatory requirements. Without a clear timeline for opening new laboratories, the water industry is operating in a state of uncertainty. The government and regulators have offered reassurances, emphasizing that the UK's water quality remains among the best in the world. A spokesman for Water UK noted that Regulation 31 is vital to maintaining these high standards, and efforts are underway to address the current challenges. However, these reassurances do little to address the immediate operational difficulties faced by water companies and their potential risk to public health. This situation highlights a broader issue with the UK's post-Brexit regulatory approach. By leaving the EU's shared frameworks, the UK has isolated itself from systems that once provided stability and efficiency. While proponents of Brexit argued that regulatory independence would lead to innovation and flexibility, the reality has been far more challenging. In sectors like water safety, the loss of shared resources and expertise has created gaps that are difficult and costly to fill. For those of us who view Brexit as a mistake, stories like this reinforce our concerns about the long-term consequences of leaving the EU. The promise of sovereignty and control has come at a significant cost, creating new barriers and risks in critical areas like public health. As the UK grapples with this issue, the question remains, how can these gaps be addressed? Should the UK seek to re-establish some form of collaboration with the EU, or should it focus on developing its own systems, despite the additional costs and challenges? For now, the absence of testing capacity leaves water companies in a precarious position, navigating a regulatory landscape that feels increasingly disconnected from practical realities. So thank you for joining me today on Outside Views again, and if you found this discussion insightful, let me know your thoughts in the comments below this video. Do you think the UK should revisit its decision to isolate itself from EU frameworks, or is this simply another consequence of Brexit that you have to learn to live with? And if you haven't already, check out my earlier videos on Brexit's impact. They provide valuable context for today's topic. And I'll see you next time with more stories that matter. Until then, take care, and the next video is right here in the end screen.